start. Okay, so it looks like we are starting finally, and hopefully you guys are all finding us. Well, give me just a second. Oh, good. I like it when we start with good quality. Let's hope it stays that way. So let's see what we got going here. And I don't know if we're live yet. Maybe, maybe not. This part's always a stinker part. Come on. Here we go. Nope, that's not us. I don't know where we are. Okay, so it looks like we are finally online. We're live, starting off with a good connection. So let's pray it stays that way. So yesterday we talked about how to make a spinner ring, and we used the fret spinner ring system. And then also, you guys, that video is now live. It's up on YouTube. I had a horrible time yesterday trying to get that video done. Not only did we have issues when we were doing the recording, but then my computer decided that it didn't feel well either, and oh my goodness.
There was technical difficulties. You're lucky you even get that video on YouTube.
All the way around there were technical difficulties. So, well, hello in Egypt. So you guys, it's kind of fun to see who's on here and where you guys are from. And the girls really enjoy that part too. So anyways, so that video is live in the description of that video. So it's the quarantine day 5, making spinner rings. On that video, in the description, I did include links to all the tools that I used that we talked about yesterday. So the various hammers and the spinner ring set itself, as well as the tutorial that I have out there on making spinner rings. And to those of you guys who purchased that tutorial, thank you, I appreciate that. It is a $20 tutorial, but like I said, it's very, very thorough, and everybody seems to be okay with the price on that one, so it's very affordable, and it's a pretty well written one, if I don't say so myself. As far as where's our munchkin, she is upstairs finishing up a little bit of homework and lunch, and then she will be down to join us. So hopefully it won't take her too much longer. I'm surprised she's not here already. I told her I was going live. So check it out. We've got Florida and Michigan. So everybody's from all over. I'm in Utah. Where are you?
Am I in Utah?
I don't know. Sometimes I think you kind of live somewhere else. Like different thought processes.
I live in my imagination.
Yes. Yes, you will definitely hear Kiari when she comes to join us. There will be no doubt about that. So yesterday, we kind of rushed through on Kate's ring, and we went ahead and flared it before we actually polished it up. So today I have Kiari's ring that is ready to be assembled and everything like that. So we've got her spinners, and then we have the ring itself. So I'm going to show you how to polish this. Now with Kate's ring, we are going to have to polish it a little bit differently. So there's just a couple of different tools that I might use, and I may not get the same finish on hers that I would put on a different ring. However, because this is a spinner ring, I don't like to have a high polish on the outside of the ring. And the reason for that is that you're going to have the spinning happening on top of that. In addition to that, this is the outside of a ring. I mean, you're going to be knocking up against stuff. I mean, Kate's very active. And so, you know, as she reaches into a backpack or a locker to grab pencils or whatever else, you know, it's, yeah, books and
lots of books.
Yeah. So as you do that, obviously you are going to run into scratches and nicks and dings and things like that. So I find that on certain types of rings, especially like this where it's for a kid and it is a spinner, I don't like to do a high polish because it's not going to stay that way. However, one of the hardest finishes you can get is a high polish on the inside of the ring, and that is one of the things that I want to show you how I do it today in the video. Now there's going to be a number of different ways, kind of like you ask anybody how you do something, and everybody's going to have their own way. So I will show you some of the ways that I do it. I have a couple of different ways. I'll show you guys one, and here we go with our little one. I can't wear that today. It doesn't match. Here, let's put it on Kate. Oh, Kate's already got a necklace.
But I already have a necklace.
Fine, I'll wear your necklace.
And I think it'll look good.
You think it'll look good?
I think
Purple and orange go together?
Do you want blue?
No, that's all right. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm decked out and we are ready to go.
That looks good.
So everybody was asking where you were. They were kind of surprised you weren't here yet.
I was working on homework, but I haven't finished.
I noticed she came prepared for her little portion of the video. We've got starbursts.
Yep.
All right.
We need to quit stealing Starburst, otherwise we're not going to have any when we go watch movies.
I know, you're not going to have any more starbursts.
I'm only taking them out of one bag.
All right, so today, like I said, I'm going to show you guys how to do that polishing. Then in addition to that, there are next week, so this weekend, I am working on videos for Fordham that are all about polishing with the flex shaft and with the bench, their little bench arbor. So you guys will have, or their little bench lathe, I guess I should say. So there will be quite a few videos coming up next week once I get the final approval from Fordham that that's how they like them, or make any edits or changes. So next week we should actually see a few more polishing videos as well. So on this one, I want to show you guys a couple of things. Let me switch my camera here. So here we have Kate's ring. And I want to show you guys on the inside, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, hopefully you can, but there is still a seam in there. Okay, you can see where that join is. And you can see it a little bit on the outside too. On the outside it's just a little superficial, and that part is actually going to go away very easily. But on the inside, sometimes you need to give it just a little bit more attention. Let's see if I can zoom you guys in here and get you at the right angle. All right, so one of the things I like to do is I'll start off with a half round file. Yeah, no, I think we're good today.
It looks like it was too close.
It was too close a little bit.
And then you fixed it.
Yeah, I did fix it. So I like the half round file, and this is also called a crossing file. Now the thing I like about it is you basically get two files in one. Now there's another ring, there's a ring file as well, and it's got two curved sides. It looks almost like a football. So it's a little bit different, but what I like to do is I'll come in here and I'll support the ring on my bench pin, and I'm just going to kind of work this, and notice that I'm kind of going back and forth, and I'm going to work it throughout the surface of that ring in there, and just work right there at that seam. And I don't want to remove too much because the ring, I already made this out of 22 gauge. I didn't want it to be too thick. And notice that I turned it over and went in from the other direction as well. Okay, so Kate, you want to try this?
Sure.
Okay, when you hold your file, you guys want to have handles on them. And right now, I actually need to pull this off and drill into this. And I've got a video out there showing, how to put your file handles into a handle, or your files into the handle as well. But it is important to do that so that, it is important to have a handle so that
you don't get cut.
Yeah, because the ends of those files can get you.
No,
so,
that'd be good.
Kate, I want you, so you're going to hold this here. Notice that I hold my fingers up. Because if my hand is here, I'm going to impale my hand, right?
It's almost
so
like
you want to have your hand up so you can kind of come in here and just kind of work it like that, okay?
It's almost like a nail file, except it could cut you.
It can if you're not careful,
A
huh?
nail file could do that too if you, right?
Yes,
It could.
absolutely. So don't go too slow. Go ahead, and it doesn't have to be hard. So just kind of light, and then just kind of twist your hand as you go, and that is going to give you kind of that movement. Like, you don't want to hold your hand completely still on it, because if you do, you're going to file in a groove, and we don't want a groove. We're trying to remove a groove that's already there, right?
She did her nails.
Okay. Oh, yes, she did do her nails. All right, let me see. So this is the other file that I was talking about before too. So this file is one that has a slightly curved surface here and one that's a little bit more curved here. The little curved is similar to what the curve is on my half round, but maybe a little bit less shallow than that. All right, so let's see what we have here. Okay, good. So right here we can see that there's still a little bit of a white spot. And I don't know if you guys can see that in the video or not. But that little, it is little. And that little white spot in there indicates that we still have a little bit of a high spot right there with...
You can't really see it.
No, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? But it is there. And it's hard to see because one, it's small. And we're zoomed out a little bit. Okay, but I think I'm actually okay with where we are right here because it is going to buff out as we do the next steps. Okay, so that's going to be my first step, is taking care of that surface on the inside of my ring. So the next thing I'm going to do then is I want to sand this a little bit. Now I have these little sanding drums, which I love. These, and I have them in two different grits here. One is a 320 and one's a 600 grit. So I'm going to start off with my 320. I'm going to put this in my Fordham or my flex shaft, or so you can either do it in a flex shaft. We happen to have a micro motor that I'm going to be using on this. So let me pull this over here. Now you want to be careful because you don't want to go too fast on these.
Or cut you.
Well, yeah, it could, but the thing is if you go too fast, then it's not going to be as effective and you can actually damage your attachment. So I'm going to put this down at 7,000 RPM. I don't want to go above 7,000 RPM. And anytime you have any kind of accessories for your machines, it will give you a range of what you can use as far as your speed goes. The Fordham that I'm using is a 1060. This is the brushless micro motor, and with that I also have the ability to finely tune my speed. So I'm going to turn this on. Now actually, wait, before we do this, there's a couple of safety things we need to talk about. So when you do any kind of polishing, you want to make sure that you are taking care of you as far as your health and your safety goes. So one thing I have is a mask, and I'm not going to put that on right now because then you're not going to be able to hear me, but I will put it on when I get started. The other thing you want to do, you guys will notice that I have quite long hair. Nope, because you have a mask and some glasses, and Kate has a mask and glasses.
Oh, I did not notice those.
Yes. So,
why is it dirty?
Oh, because it's been used, but that's on the outside. So you're okay. You can use the inside. Okay. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my hair back real quick.
It's still dirty.
Yep, it's okay. It'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to pull my hair back, and then in addition to that, I also have safety goggles. Very, very, very important that you use the safety precautions to keep yourself from harm. What?
What about me?
Yeah, so here's your glasses, and there's your mask. So go ahead and put them on. It's fine. These will fit over it, I think.
Do you need to still put those on though?
What's that? Yeah. So, Kiara, you want me to help you put your mask on? Actually, Kiara, we need to pull your hair back. Come here. So, Kiara also has long hair. So we'll pull Kiara's hair back as well. Why do we want to pull our hair back, girls?
So it doesn't get caught or get caught.
Do you know what happens if your hair gets caught in one of those machines?
What?
It will actually come in and it'll rip your hair out. It can be very, very, very dangerous. Okay, now the glasses are going to be a bit too big for you, but that's okay. Everything's too big for you.
I saw one that would fit, that was over there that would fit me somewhere.
I don't know where it is right now though. Okay, do you? All right, so now, so show them you're ready too. We're all ready. Okay, so now that we're ready, now we're going. What's that?
Carrie's butthead brought sugar.
I know, she's a stinkhead. Okay, so Kate is trying to go sugar-free. Those of you guys who have known our little plight with her migraine headaches, we are trying some new dietary stuff with no sugar, no dairy, no gluten. It's not fun, is it?
No. And Carrie's little butthead, she brought sugar.
I'm sorry, I forgot, okay?
All right, so I'm gonna get my machine started. Now this machine can be run either by hand or on the foot.
These ones
So,
fit me.
okay, good. Now you've got some glasses that fit you.
These are
So again,
small
okay,
ones.
I'm trying to show this, honey. But good. We'll show them in just a second, okay? So I always want to rest here on my bench pin, and that's going to support things. Now I'm going to come in here, and I'm very, very, very gently just kind of touching this.
I like that.
So I'm not even
sound.
going.
It's funny.
It's kind of fun, huh? So I'm not going very hard at all. Okay, and just very soft.
Play.
All right, and then we're gonna rotate it around and do some more. Do you want to try this, Kate?
Good try for you.
What do you think? You want to try it? Okay, so Kate, notice here how I'm holding this. I'm holding this in my hand, kind of like this, and then I'm going to support my thumb somewhere. And by doing that, it allows me to come in and just gently move, and because if I do this, I have no support, right? So you always want to somehow stabilize your hand, and I like to do that on my bench pin. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same type of thing. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give myself a surface that is pretty consistent and even all the way throughout the ring.
You don't have your mask on still?
I don't. I know, so that they can hear me. Well, and typically when I work with my polishing or when I work with this unit, I'm actually working in a chamber that has a vacuum. So, no, your mask does not fit. Okay, so now as I look through the ring, I have a pretty consistent. You're so silly. Here, hang on, they can't see you yet. This is what Kiara looks like all dressed up. So at this point, I have a very consistent finish in my ring. Thank you, Kate. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap down to the 600 grit, and that's going to give me a finer finish than that 320.
Can you make mine look hammered? Because I like the way it looks.
You like that hammered look?
Yeah.
If I do, it'll be too big for you.
Oh.
So, but I'm going to show you a different finish on yours. All right, so now I'm going to do the 600 grit, and again, I'm going to come back in.
I can still eat.
And you can hear the difference, and I don't know if it comes across on the video or not, but you can hear the difference.
It's broccoli.
It's broccoli, yeah. Pink broccoli? I don't know that I would trust pink broccoli.
No, it's red.
Okay.
I still wouldn't trust that.
All right. And now the finish inside is very consistent, it's very smooth. And from here, now I'm going to go to a different buff. So I'm going to go to my felt, either a felt or a cotton buff. So I have two different options here. The felt is definitely going to be a lot more aggressive.
Can I feel it?
Yeah.
Fuzzy.
It is fuzzy, but it's also kind of stiff. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Feel this one, and it's all squishy. Right?
What's that black stuff?
What is the black stuff? Good question.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
It's stuff from your rings and stuff.
Yes. Now definitely on this one, I am going to put my mask on. So sound a little different now.
I can hear you.
Well, I know you can hear me. It's just it's going to sound a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this
She has
one.
to have the mask on or else she could die possibly.
So on this one, well, it's not that you're going to die, but you don't want these things in your lungs. You can. And jewelers get sick very often from having some of this. Okay, so now I have a cotton buff on here, and I'm going to be using some Zam. Zam is a good question.
Oh, wait, do you rub that on there? Is that why it looks black?
Yes. So I'm going to pull this down to about 5,000 RPM. And I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to load it up.
Whoa,
and I don't have to put too much.
Cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
And now, watch what happens to our ring when we do this. So hang on, I'll show you.
That looks really easy.
Look at that.
Wow!
See that polish that we get in there?
So cool.
That sound, there's like a high squeak to it.
It does.
It sounds like a bee.
It's got this high squeak.
Or it sounds like like a bee. A really loud bee going brrrr.
Oh, we lost our connection a little bit.
Sorry
Yep, and if our connection goes bad, we'll just edit the video.
And if
Your volume's off.
What's that? No, that's okay. All right, so now, if we look on the inside,
if it goes off, we'll just not redo it, but
it'll start where we left off.
We'll do another video.
Yep, okay.
I
So
love
now-
that. Oh, you know what it's like? It's like those little sketch pads where you grab a toothpick and then it like shows you a picture.
Someone asked how the unicorn girl is.
Good. Oh, it's not a unicorn.
All right, so Felix
I'll be
says,
back.
okay,
I always need to have a unicorn.
honey, Felix says, I use the sanding attachment 1500 grit to level the surface inside an arbor housing on a drill press and then the tailstock on the lathe. So yeah, there's definitely a number of different ways. And these little sanding drums that I showed you guys, they go up to about, like 3,000 grit or something like that. Might even be more. But at this point, I now have a mirror polish on the inside, and I only went up to 600 grit. So I did a 320, and then I went up to the 600 grit. So that's the inside of our ring now, and it's beautiful. What do you think?
I think it's cool.
We have a protected unicorn.
It looks like you've got like icy snow and then in the middle it's
Hi guys. It looks like I'm a
Hang on.
Dr. Unicorn.
A Dr. Unicorn, huh?
Yeah, Dr. Queen.
Are you a Dr. Corn?
Yeah, it looks
Yes,
like
you can
it.
take off the mask now. Okay, well, and then we're going to put them back on again in just a second because...
Then I'll leave mine on.
All right, you can leave it on. So on Kate's ring, we did not get the outside of her ring polished up. And we are starting to see some high spots that are kind of being brought out.
It's yellow.
I know, it's okay, honey. Don't worry about that right now.
It's close to bed.
Sweetheart, I know. But it's okay. You don't have to keep telling them because one, they know, and two, we'll just edit the video if we need to, okay?
I know.
Okay, so let's not talk about it anymore. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, because otherwise it takes up too much time. All right.
Keep going.
So if I come back onto this and let me show you guys, we're starting to see some high spots where these rings are rubbing, and so we end up with a little bit of a polished spot, and that's totally fine. But what's that?
actually kind of looks cool.
It does look kind of cool. And so, but what we're going to do, and what we should have done from the very get-go, is give this kind of its finish that we want to have. Now, because we already have the rings on there, I'm going to use a radial disc, and this is, I want to say, 120 grit. It's a pretty gritty one. It might be 60. I don't remember. It's the brown one.
Trees on it. It's really cool.
All right, so Mimi asked, how do you remove the ZAM if there is any left? Sometimes it leaves black on my pieces. Is it okay to use paint thinner? You don't even need to use paint thinner. I use hot water and Dawn dish soap. That's all I would use. So I would do that and then just scrub it off with a scrub brush and you're good to go. And then I would just hit this again with like a soft polishing cloth just to clean it and dry it. Make sure I don't add any new scratches to it.
Thanks to the person that keeps sending puppies and unicorns.
All right. So I'm going to put my safety glasses back on. I'm going to swap out my attachment. On this one, yeah, put on your mask as well. So again, I'm going to run this at about...
take mine off
okay.
because it's hard.
Good job. I'm going to run this at about 5,000 RPM. And I'm going to just come in and work around these rings and even on top of the rings. And what this is going to do is give me kind of a brushed finish because it is a little bit...
finish on the top?
On the top,
on the rings?
Nope. Yes, it will do a brush finish on the rings and on the top of the ring.
Your fingers are black.
I know. Do you know why they're black?
Because of that stuff?
Yes, because of the polishing compound.
Is this supposed to be green, but then because they use it, it turns black?
Yep.
Is that black just metal and dirt?
Yes, it is. Good observation.
I mean, it could be metal.
What, sweetie?
So that's the thing that you polish with, right?
What thing? My unit back there that has the vacuum and everything, yes. All right, so again, I just went over this very, very lightly, and now you can see we have the brushed finish on the outside and the high polish on the inside. There's a little bit of black residue out here on the edges where I have touched it with my fingers and the polishing compound. So at this point, I would take this over to the sink and I will clean it off, like I said, with the soap and hot water. What, Kate?
Kind of see it?
Kind of, yep. Well, they're on the wrong screen, honey. So yeah, so typically when I'm using my micromotor, I'm working here in my little work chamber, and that has a vacuum in it and everything like that. So I don't worry so much about any of the particles coming out or anything like that. So now, Kate, there's your ring.
Do you want me to go wash it?
Sure. All right, so if we were going to do this on Chiari's ring, I would do, well, I guess we better show you guys Chiari's ring. This is going to be, those are going to be the rings.
Wow, they're so bumpy and cool.
Yeah, so they're kind of fun, huh? So I have actually sanded this down a bit, so my surface is just a little bit rough here, and you can still see that there's a little bit of extra solder right here on the seam. Now what I'm going to do with Chiari's is we're again going to polish the inside of this, but I might have to get creative with hers. Her ring is so small, I don't know that I can get, I might be able to once it gets spinning. It's going to be a little more difficult to get on the inside of her ring. So I may have to go in a couple of directions where I take this in kind of at an angle like that, and then I would have to flip it over and come in again at the angle over here and hope that I kind of match up in the middle there. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go find a smaller bit, whether I do like a felt bob or something like that.
One?
You want to try this one? I think we could probably try that.
It looks soft.
It is soft, isn't it? All right, but the outside, I have this little...
Is this one new? Because
scrubby.
it's not
It is
even
brand new.
dirty.
Nope, I just pulled it out of the box. It's brand new.
It's brand new?
Brand new.
Can I use it or try to use it
In just a second. So what I'm going to be using, this is a Scotch, it's almost like a Scotch-Brite pad, but it's really, really coarse. And that's going to give us a really nice brushed finish here on the outside. So I'm actually on her ring, I'm going to start with this one right here. Is it relaxing? Nice.
Yep.
Good.
And then it hopped on that. And now it's hopping. Whee!
So I'm going to swap out our attachment here. We're going to do this Scotch-Brite one, or kind of this coarse one. Again, on this one, I'm running at about 5,000 RPM. Put my glasses back on.
Mask? No.
Yes.
Mask.
All right. So now, oh, sure, okay. So now I'm just going to go over the surface of this, and you guys can see it's giving me a really nice brushed finish.
Wow.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
And again, I like to give these either a textured finish or something like that, so that when these rings rub along the top, it's not going to move or mess up a smooth polish. And right there I have just a little bit of that solder. So if I just keep working this with this attachment, it'll smooth that right out. And there it goes. All right. And now we have the outside of Chiari's ring. So the next thing that I'm going to do is the inside of her ring. Now hers again has...
I use a soft toothbrush and a warm
soapy water.
Soapy water.
Yep, that's what I use too.
That's the person that sends the unicorns and puppies.
Yes, that's kind of fun, huh? No. All right, what's that?
Opposite people, actually.
Yeah, good. And now you can wear your ring.
No, opposite people.
So, okay.
But they have the same picture.
Yes.
Almost.
Now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use the little sanding discs on the inside of her ring to remove our seam that we have here on the inside.
Is that the sander?
Yep, this is the sanding drums.
Is that like that tapey thing that you can rub on your clothes?
No, it is not, but it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But don't feel it.
Can you
touch it?
Peel that?
You can peel it. So what happens, that's the thing I really like about these.
Yeah, it's like the tapey things that you can peel.
Right. Yeah, it is like those. So when these get used up here on the outside and they're just no longer doing any work for me,
looks like
I can just
tape.
tear it off and then I've got a whole new layer.
It looks like tape.
It does kind of, doesn't it?
Is the new layer blue?
No, just the back side of it is blue. See, like if I open this up, there, you see that black back side of it? The back side of it's blue.
The sticky part's blue.
It's not sticky. There's nothing sticky about this.
Yeah.
So
It's keeping it.
it's just held in here by the little retainer down here at the
Oh,
bottom.
so it's like a fruit roll. It's not a fruit roll, but like it stays together with a round thing. So it's almost like that, except it has that thing. Is that polishing the ring?
It is removing that seam that we have
Oh.
in here.
I thought you were supposed to use that nail file.
Yep, you
It
can.
has metal on it. I would rather do, like, I would do that one if I wanted to do it really fast. But then I would do that one just so I didn't accidentally break the ring.
Yeah. And sometimes the file is a little faster. I was just thinking that
Or
this one,
safer.
yeah, I think we're going to back off and we're going to use the file on this one because it's not coming out as well as I would
Can I
like.
try the file?
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can come and try this. So you want to just do it gently right here. Now, why do you think that this file is going to work, but the sander didn't? Why do you think that's the case?
Because the sander, that lady's getting old, maybe? Oh, wait,
No.
wait. It's because it's, too dull?
No, not too dull. It's because of the difference of their radius.
Oh, that one's sharper than
No,
this
this one, okay, so see how curved around this is?
Yeah.
And see how this one's a little bit
Yeah.
flatter than this? So that radius makes it so that it's a bit different. You want to try this? Okay, scoot on over. Okay, so when you do this, you want to hold your ring kind of like this and keep your fingers out of the way, right? But you want to hold your ring down and we're going to come in and we're going to just kind of
Just squish
like
my
that.
finger down.
Sorry. Yeah, you want to squish your finger down because you want to hold the ring
but
tight
then
enough.
it's hitting me.
Sorry.
Like that?
Kind of. Yep. Okay. So you're doing a pretty good job.
Well, I found out why it was too small in his hand.
Oh, yeah?
This hand's a lot smaller.
Oh. Well, if we need to make it bigger, we can. All right. What do you think, Kiari?
Well, no, it fits this one okay. It's a little bit too big for this one.
I thought that was the one you made it for anyway.
I think I measured this hand, but
Oh. All right. All right. So let's see, Kiari.
that's probably why.
So is it coming out now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking really good. All right. Here, let me see the ring,
Nice.
please.
It
Good
looks
job.
like a knife.
So she actually did pretty good. We've got it almost done. And the difference was that radius. Okay.
It has shiny things on it.
Okay, what are those shiny things, do you think?
Metal?
It is metal. They're silver.
Should it be itching again?
It could itch. All right. So on this ring, before I actually do anything else, we're going to go ahead and flare this because right now we have like a little low spot in there that's not sanding out. So I believe that if we flare this ring now, then what will happen is it's going to change that geometry of that ring and it'll be easier for us to get to with the file. So we're going to go ahead and flare this, and in this case we've already done up her rings. We have the outside surface the way we want her ring, so now we just need to flare and then put the rings on. I could hit these with a little polishing compound as well before we do that, otherwise they're just going to have this matte finish on them. So you have a number of options that you can do on that. Kiari, come here. We need you to come and flare your ring.
What does that mean?
It means that you need to put the little flares on it where it makes it into the spinner part like we did yesterday when we hammered it. Okay. So what we're gonna do,
I want a hammer.
well good, because it's your ring, you need to come hammer it. All right, show people how you do this. Now don't hit it too hard, but you
And
don't want to
how
be
to
too
hold it
light.
right.
Yes.
It's really cool, doesn't it?
Hang on, you gotta leave it here so that they can see what you're doing. Now remember, you wanna bring your hand down because you don't wanna hit your hand, right? So bring your hand down and support it on the block so that it holds it nice and steady. Okay, do it again. and again, and again, and again. All right, that's good. Oh, that's a beautiful flare. So that was actually really, really nice. So now what we're going to do is you need to slip your rings onto it. Can you get it? Okay, good. And now you're gonna do it again.
Oh, look. You just
Okay.
matched it up.
Yep, I'll hold this and you hit. Okay? Yeah, be very careful. Okay? Again. Again. One more time. All right.
I can see that move down.
Yep. And we need to go a couple more times on this side. Again. And again. All right, now let's see. Oh yeah, that's looking good. So now we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna do the same thing here. And again. Okay. Good. And see, now your rings don't slip off, but they still spin, which is what we want. All right, and go ahead and try your ring now. Let's see how it fits. And then we need to finish the polish. All right, does it stick on you now? All right, so that one's good. When we tried it a little earlier, she got it stuck on her.
It was your fault.
It was my fault.
Because you put the ring on me, and then you said, that's a perfect size. Then you couldn't get it
Yeah,
off.
we couldn't get it off, huh? Okay, so now what do we need to do? We still need to finish up the inside, right? But see how we weren't able to get those little spots in there? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back, but before we get, not yet, because we still need to get rid of those little areas, and there they go. So by changing that geometry of that ring from flat to curved, it allows us now to get in there to remove those little high spots that we had, the high and the low spots. Okay, so now that we've removed that,
Metal on me then.
that's okay. Now that we removed that, now what we need to do is
it's
come
not
back
poking me.
with our micromotor. Okay, and we need to come back in. This is the 320 grit, so this is a little grittier.
What does that mean?
So the lower the number, when you have sandpaper, they come in different grits, okay? And it talks about how big the particles are, or the little sanding pieces are. And so if you have 320, that is going to be a little larger pieces than if you have 600. So let's say that you have 1 square inch. If you put 320 in 1 square inch and you put 600 in 1 square inch, the 300, they're bigger to fill up that same area that the 600 does. Does that make sense?
I guess.
I guess we need to have a little lesson in some math and science and how things work, huh?
But I've been doing math and science.
I know, you've been doing really well. Let's see, my little mandrel here is a little bit tight. Come on. All right, let's pull this guy up a bit. My mandrel is just a little bit tight in this collet that I'm using. So hold tight, there we go. There we go, that's better. So now we're gonna go down to our 600 grit. This one's gonna be a little finer. And why do we change sizes, Kiara? Do you know?
Something's flying around.
Yeah, it's just a little paper on the edge.
I know.
Why do we go through different grits and sizes?
To see which one works better?
No. So when we use the one that's a little grittier, so the 300 in this case, when we use that, it is going to leave bigger scratches than the finer one. So if you've got the one that's the 600, it removes the scratches that the 300 one left. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our buff, and we're gonna see if we can buff it with this
When are we
one.
gonna use this one?
And again, I'm gonna make sure I have my mask on for this one.
What about this?
We'll see, just a second. Let's see if we can do it with the cotton
Hey,
one.
look, there's big seam of metal on there.
Yep, that's all right. All right, so we're gonna get our polishing going again. I'm gonna put some Zam on here.
It's a little over here.
Yep, some of it does, huh? Oh yeah, see look, this goes in here nicely when you got it going. Look at that.
Because it shrinks down.
It just allows it to move in. And it's spun on there, and I'm going to remove that. There we go.
It made it all well, look at it. It looked like it was bare. Like it lost some of its fur.
Oh, yeah? Okay. I'm just going to run here along the top edge of this real quick.
Wow.
And shine up these little top rings.
I like the top rings being shined.
Okay. And there is our ring.
It's a bit black.
It is a bit black. And again, why is it black?
Because that got dirty.
So we don't even need that.
Oh.
It polished it up beautifully, so we don't need that one.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So now you guys have seen kind of my method for doing this. If I have a surface that it's just not polishing to that high shine after that 600 grit, I may take it up to like a 1500 grit or a 1200 grit, something like that. And then from there, then I will, what? Then I'll hit it with that cotton buff.
Do
and
I
that
need to
cotton buff
wash
is,
it?
yes. So what we'll do after this, we'll go over and we'll wash this with some hot soapy water, and it'll remove all that black stuff. It'll take it all off of my fingers and everything. So do you know how you can tell a jeweler?
My hands are dried out, so I need lotion.
So you know how you can tell a jeweler?
They got stuff all over their hands.
They don't have good nails or hands. I happen to have good nails right now, but that was because I was going to do a TV segment, and so I like my nails to look good for the TV segments. But
TV segment got canceled.
it did get canceled along with my
I
shows.
thought you said that type of stuff makes your fingers, like ruins your fingers.
It does.
Then why do you use it?
Because it makes my nails look nice.
But it's bad for your fingers. Why don't you use nail polish? Not
Not the gel stuff. Yeah, you know. Well, because when you work with
How
jewelry,
does gel stuff ruin your fingers?
the fingernails, it just makes them thin. But yeah. Anyway, so you guys, that's our video for today. I hope that answers kind of some questions. Again, I will link some of the products that I've used. In this case, I'm using the Fordham 1060. Hey, stop, baby. I'm using the Fordham 1060, and that is the brushless micromotor. And I have videos on the different micromotors as well. And then, but you could use this, Kiari, stop. You can use it with any of the micromotors, or you could even do it with your flex shaft as well. So there's a number of options, and it's the exact same, the same accessories. All of these happen to have a 3/32 shank, so I would be able to use each of these in a quick change handpiece as well. When you're working with the Fordhams, the micromotors, these are also quick change, but the collet size will determine what you can use. And I think you guys saw as well that I have a little collet adapter in here. So what I did was I swapped out, and I did a video on this, I swapped out my collet, and I put a 1/8 inch collet on here. And that makes it so that I can use any of the accessories that are for, say, the
How do you start
the Dremel. I push the button over here, or you can use a foot pedal.
foot pedal?
But a lot of my accessories are 3/32, so I have an adapter. So I'll just take that adapter, stick it inside of the 1/8 inch collet, and then put this in. Anytime you have a quick change handpiece, whether it's on a micromotor or just a quick change handpiece for your flex shaft, you always want to make certain that there is a mandrel in here at all times. So even when you're not using it. So when you receive those handpieces, it's going to come with a blank mandrel, so there's just nothing there, just the mandrel. It is important that you hang on to that, or always keep, thank you, or always keep some accessory in here, okay? And the reason for that is that when you close this down, if you just have the collet in there, you can actually crush that collet, and then you have to do some repairs on your handpiece. So it's better just to take care to make sure that you maintain those properly, and then you won't have to worry about doing any repairs. So thank you guys for joining us again today. It was a little less rambunctious, which is kind of nice. We still have a little bit of homework to do, and then we're doing a movie night tonight. Woo! So I hope you guys are... What's that?
Oh, this morning I woke up at 1:01 on accident.
Yep, she woke up pretty early this morning, huh?
On accident,
On
but it's
accident.
actually a funny story, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, you don't have to tell that
It
story.
was funny, though.
She has the best attitude, kids. Let me tell you, she's funny. It was kind of a funny story,
Yeah.
but that one's totally for her to tell. It's a personal one. So anyway, I hope you guys are all surviving your quarantine. Hopefully these videos, I appreciate all the feedback, you guys. I appreciate that you guys enjoy watching the girls in here, because I always kind of wonder about that. I've tried very hard to keep the videos very, very professional and everything, but the girls have really enjoyed being in here. And as we go through these videos, as they start to learn these skills, they are going to be doing some more of this work themselves. So you guys will start to see them moving into a little bit more hands-on, hopefully.
Hands-on, but I have hands-on.
You have hands-on? Thank goodness you
my
have
hands are
hands-on.
on. See?
Thank goodness they are there, huh?
Hands.
So I'll go back through the video. Hopefully, I know that it looks like there's been a few little issues and glitches. I'll go back through it. If it looks like I need to, I'll edit it again and post it back up a little bit later. Thank you guys for joining us. I think we're going to take the weekend off. However, there may still end up being a weekend jewelry school.
And
it just kind of depends.
Dr. Corn.
Dr. Corn.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a doctor and a unicorn because this makes me look like I'm a doctor.